The churning of the ocean of milk. The gods and the demons were always at war against each other, and on both sides there were heavy losses every time they fought. Once it was suggested that they could join their forces and churn the ocean of milk in order to get Amrita, by which all of them would become immortal. Both sides liked the suggestion and came together to plan out the churning. Vasuki, the great serpent, agreed to be their churning rope. The Mandara mountain was brought to serve as the churning rod. They threw the mountain into the ocean of milk and wound the serpent Vasuki around it. The gods stood at the tail and the demons at the head of the serpent. Each side took up one end and the churning began. Mandara Parvata was very heavy and soon started sinking into the ocean. Who was to hold it up while they churned? So they prayed to Lord Vishnu. He took the form of a tortoise and lifted up the mountain. They were all happy and started churning again. As they churned, several wonderful things came up to the surface. A white elephant, Airavata, and a swift horse, Uchchaiswaras, arose. They were taken by Indra, the king of gods. The moon arose. Shiva took her for his head ornament. Lakshmi came. Vishnu took her as his wife. Thus, as attractive things appeared, the gods and the demons rushed to take them. But at last, a terrible thing happened, and neither side knew what to do. Vasuki, the huge serpent used as a churning rope, got exhausted by the strain and vomited out all his poison, known as halahala. The vicious poisonous fumes arose and spread far and wide. The three worlds cried out in terror, seeking relief. But who could stop the poison from spreading? The gods and the demons approached Shiva and begged him to help them. Shiva collected the poison in his palm, but where to put it? It would destroy all life. Not finding a safe place, he opened his mouth and swallowed it. Parvati Devi, who was nearby, saw all this. If the poison went in, he was sure to die. In order to save him, she stretched out her hand and pressed Shiva's throat so that the poison could not go further. It remained in his throat, which turned deep blue. Hence, Lord Shiva is known as Neelakanta, the blue throated one. Thus saved by Shiva, the gods and the demons resumed their churning, and finally Dhanvantari arose out of the ocean with a pot of nectar in his hands. The moment they saw the Amrita, the demons left Vasuki, rushed to Dhanvantari, whisked the pot away from him, and ran. The gods were dazed. After all this trouble, were they to be cheated by the demons? They prayed to Lord Vishnu to come to their rescue. The Lord heard their prayers and came to them in the form of a beautiful girl, Mohini. With enchanting smiles and sparkling eyes, Mohini captivated them all. She took the pot of nectar from the hands of the demons without any resistance from them. She asked all of them to sit down. The gods sat on one side and the demons on the other. Mohini started to dance. She whirled around, smiling at the demons while distributing the nectar to the gods. Lost in their fascination for her charms, the demons did not know what was happening. Suddenly, one of the demons, Rahu, realized what Mohini was doing. Disguising himself as a god, he moved to sit in the row of the gods. Without seeing this, Mohini gave the nectar to him also, and he drank it. The sun and the moon saw this and made a sign to Mohini. She immediately took up the chakra and cut off the demon's head. As the nectar had already been drunk by the demon, the head, though cut off and separated from the body, lived on. Ever since, the head has been taking revenge on the sun and the moon by swallowing them every now and then. But as it is only a head, the sun and the moon come out soon. These phenomena are called the solar and lunar eclipses. The churning of a sadhaka within his mind to get knowledge is a similar churning. The mind has to be pure like the milk ocean. The intellect is the churning rod and the ego the rope. To support the intellect, the tortoise of self control is needed. The dynamic vitality and the discriminating knowledge with their expressions are the gods and the demons. The poison of ego is to be kept without swallowing it, so it will not touch the heart or the head but stay in the throat. Then Amrita is gained.